Check out the links in my description for more information, for more resources. Check out the podcast. Check out the Facebook groups. Just check out the links. There's a lot of great stuff there. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, like, dislike, whatever you want to do. So this is my Zamasu rejuvenating the Tide deck. 1 copy of the leader. 4 Oceanus, 4 Shenron for Your Majesty, 4 Angel 17 Turn the Tide, 4 Baby Golden Avenger, 4 Vegeta Ready to Rumble, 4 Gohan Baby's Minion, 4 Goku Overflowing Spirit, 4 Kibito Kai, 4 Chill's Army Reinforcement, 4 O2 Easy, 4 Super Pycon True Mastery, 4 Raditz Giant Force, 4 Majin Buu Assault of the Agent of Destruction, 4 Gotenks Absolute Unison, and 4 the same 4 Goku Protector of the Earth. So obviously the Tide part of the deck comes from Android 17 Turn Tide, and then the Rejuvenate part of the deck comes from Super Pycon. Because of his Rejuvenate ability, where once per turn you can remove 5 markers from this card and take a card from under this card, place it to the drop area, and then take the top card of your deck and put it into your life. So that's how Rejuvenate works. So it's a life gaining ability. So one of the win cones, or one of the strategies in the deck, is gaining life. Make sure your life is higher than your opponent. So that way, when time runs out, you'll win because you have more life than your opponent. Which I have gameplay. I just finished, playing the game and showing that in action, so you'll get to see how this strategy works on the next video upload. Alright, and he has the +2 ability where you can look up to 5 cards on top of your deck and then place 1 blue card among them into the drop area and then shuffle your deck. All I do is just +2 and then just shuffle my deck. I really don't use the effect because I don't really want to send anything to the drop. And then it has the active main, draw 1 card, and then place 1 card from me, up to 1 card from your hand under this card. So you could do the +0 just to draw, and then that's it, just use it as a draw engine. But you don't get no markers doing that, right? But this is one way you can put a card under this to, obviously get to use the Rejuvenate. The way we always want Rejuvenate to work, because we want Rejuvenate to work. So this is one of the first Rejuvenates we can get to work, other than the red Piccolo Unison that works good in the Piccolo deck. Give me a second. So there's that. So we really only use this to Rejuvenate. Obviously, we use it as an attacker, and sometimes we use it as a draw engine. You'll see it in the gameplay of it in action, so you'll see how to use it. I'm not going to spend time explaining the different ways you can set it up. Turning the tides, of course, we don't ramp in this deck, so obviously we hard cast this for 7. Your opponent loses their hand, you lose your hand, and then all the battle cards in the drop goes back into the deck, shuffle the deck, and then there we go. No cards in hand. Here's a 30k crit with deflect. So you don't have to worry about God sealing Trunks. But you still have to worry about Cast Matter Frieza or anything similar to that. Or just some free play blocker. So there's that. And yeah, so this is the win con. Golden Avenger can be used as a win con, especially if you're trying to go for game. If one it negates, tries to negate one of your attacks, especially if it's a game winning attack. You can use this card's counter ability to counter, to negate the negate, and get your attack to go through. Plus, he's a 30k triple strike body. Lets you draw a card, so he replaces himself, and he can let you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignore and barrier, and place it at the bottom of their deck. So it has the ability to get rid of a blocker if need be. So that's always good. That's the main thing is that you don't want, you want to use it for its counter, so you can stop and negate and then get them out there. That's the main way we use them. We got floodgate abilities in the deck. Obviously, we got Oceanus, the floodgate, and can help us potentially mill our opponent out as a win con. We got Ready to Rumble to help us anti-energy our opponent. If our opponent chooses to attack, they'll lose energy in doing so. But the fact that we can negate an attack plus have a blocker on board is always good. Then we have Baby's Minion. Pretty much the same thing. If your opponent attacks, they lose a card from the hand and put it bottom deck. So it's a floodgate. Plus, has the potential to be a 25k body that you just swing with. Goku Overflowing Spirit along with Kibito Kai. This is our little engine for reusing our unisons, specifically our Super Pycon unison, so we can rejuvenate. You'll see it in the gameplay that I was able to take advantage of playing this thing, using this to get this back, and then use it as material for giving a marker and putting a card under this card to trigger the Rejuvenate. Of course, I could have done something differently, rejuvenated, played the second copy, and rejuvenated again. So it's just the whole idea is just the ability to just be able to rejuvenate. Especially the main thing, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so good in this deck, is the fact that the leader has on the Awaken side, whenever you take damage, you don't lose life, you mill cards for your deck instead. And this is a 60 card deck, so because of that, the main idea is that we can use this to gain back life and don't worry about losing the life after we gain it, after we rejuvenate, so we can make sure our life is always high, like 3 life, for example. That way, as long as we get our opponent down to 2 life and we have 3 life, the game ends because time limit at a tournament, for example, you'll win by that. Now, granted, this strategy works more within that type of environment where there's a time limit. This is, Rejuvenate is decent, but ironically in this deck, it's actually useless if we were just playing casually. So casually, this is not that good of an effect. It's a little unimportant casually because you could just lose because they decked you out, right? Just kept attacking you until you decked out. But within a competitive scene, right? Within time, this is useful. So this is a time card, so you can win in time with this, right? Which is the idea, and it works great with this leader because, like I said, on the Awaken side, whenever your opponent deals you damage, you don't lose the life that you rejuvenated. You're just losing cards from your deck. And this is a 60 card deck, so as long as you can make sure that you're not taking that much damage, right? So you don't deck out when time runs out and you still have more life than your opponent, you'll be doing good. You'll see in the gameplay, I end the game with 6 life. My opponent had 4 life, so my opponent had 4 life, I had 6. So you'll see it in the gameplay. There's times where I did trigger the leader's active main ability of critting a life to draw a card. Because of course I was going to rejuvenate, so I did that like at least twice and rejuvenated like about 3 times in the game. You'll see it. Action. Let's see. Shenron Figure Majesty is one of our draw engines on top of that we could draw with Pycon. Typically, you want to have Raditz out there because he'll help you apply pressure as well as be a defense plus a draw engine. So him and Shenron Figure Majesty can help you draw. So there's that. So we use Shenron Figure Majesty, like I said, as a draw engine, and we use it to mainly untap 2 energy, but it can be used to help us bring back the Kibito Kai, bring back Goku, so we can have that as our engine to reuse our Pycon or any of our other powerful unisons. So that's the synergy of those cards. That's everything. And of course, we got our free negate, where we could take a life when we have 5 or less life. You can take a life out of your hand and play this card out for free. You can play multiple copies if you have multiple, life to take in order to play multiple copies. And you can negate attack, make a token that's blocker. Obviously, so you can potentially stop 2 attacks. You have all too easy, which is in negate. You can play even from your drop area, which comes in handy with this deck. Because the way this deck works. Red is Giant Force, blocker, auto. Once you activate blocker skill, you can restand it so that way you can block it again. As the active main ability, we can draw a card and switch this card to active mode at the end of your turn, so you can attack with it. Activate his ability, draw a card, and switch it back to active mode at the end of your turn, right? It has a -2 ability where you can choose one of your opponent's better cards and return to the owner's hand, and then at the end of the turn, switch one of your players to active mode. That's one of our main defense and offensive capabilities in our deck. Roger Moon, double strike, blocker, 20k. Active main, draw a card. Then at the start of your opponent's main phase, switch this card and one of your blue energy to active mode. If your leader is blue, you can switch your energy to active mode. So obviously we get all of that. And he has the auto that when your opponent attacks with a battle card, you -1 energy, one marker, and choose a battle card and send it to the bottom of your opponent's deck. So, and he's a blocker, so he has the potential of stopping 2 attacks a turn. So that's what looks good. Gotenks, dual attack blocker, so we can attack with it and defend with it. Sword and shield strategy. -2 ability to draw 2 cards, so it could be a temporary draw engine, or at least a way to get back in the game, right? -3 ability, choose up 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier and place them at the bottom of the deck. So has potential as a pseudo board wipe, at least that's barrier hate. And Goku with his unison with his auto. So on your opponent's turn, if your opponent attacks with a battle card, they have to choose a 2 cost or higher battle card and place it at the bottom of their deck in order to attack. And then it has the -1 ability, draw 2 cards, then take 1 card for your hand, put it at the bottom of your deck. And then it has the -2 ability, choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignore and barrier, and bounce them back to your opponent's hand. So combining that with the auto, clears your opponent's board and makes it hard for them to hit you on the clapback, which makes it a little bit easier to try to get to the next turn of turning the tide. So this is usually a good turn 6 play. Alright, drop it for 5 energy, do its -2, swing, all that good stuff, and then try to get to turn 7. Do its -2 again to clear your opponent's board, and then drop turning tides, which is what I typically do with those 2 cards. And that's the end of the video.